Hello, John Griswold here with my sister Katie with
Hello.
Griswold Group, here to give you a little update on what's going on in the San Diego real estate market.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about supply and demand over the last 3 years, what happened then and what we're seeing now, and we're also going to give you an update on solar. So to start us off, 2020, 2021, we saw very low supply because people didn't want to put their home on the market due to the pandemic. That makes sense. We also saw demand increase because home was such a major focus, and then interest rates came way down. So we saw demand balloon and supply stay very low. So as we all know, that's what caused our extreme seller's market. Enter 2022, we started to see interest rates come up, supply started to rise, and as a result of the interest rates coming up, demand started to decrease. So we saw demand coming down, supply rising, which created a more balanced market, and we saw some prices fall at that time. Enter 2023, we're starting to see a different story.
Right, so inventory has actually stayed pretty flat or has actually dropped a little bit. Demand is still really low, but because inventory has come down, we saw that home values stopped dropping and sort of went flat and are now actually starting to rise a little bit. Not like what we saw in 2021, but they are starting to rise a little bit just because there's very little homes on the market. A healthy inventory market for San Diego would be about 5,500 homes, and right now we're closer to 2,000 homes. So that is causing multiple offers. That is causing sellers to be able to get a lot of extra concessions, rent backs, things like that. Really short contingency periods. Sometimes, removing contingencies up front. Very similar to what we were starting to see throughout 2021, just without the excessive growth that we were obviously experiencing at the time.
Yeah, so it all has to do with interest rates being so high. 89% of homeowners have an interest rate in California below 89% of homeowners in California have an interest rate below 5%. So that's making it fairly cost prohibitive for sellers to trade up, to do any sort of moving unless it's required. So most sellers are cashing out and moving out of state, job change. It's something that is required. So that's keeping inventory super, super low, and that's what's causing this shift in the market that we're seeing right now.
Demand-wise, we're sort of entering the new normal, let's call it, of interest rates between 6 and 7%. And although that is quite a bit higher than where we were, it's stable enough where buyers are continuing to move forward in this climate, even when they have to compete with multiple offers and potentially go at or slightly over the asking price to do so. So it's a very interesting situation where it's not only are they just moving forward with the community, but they're potentially going to a different community, like a less affordable community, so that they can comfortably afford that 6.5%, 7% interest rate and move forward with the home that they're looking at. So there's a lot of shifting right now with buyers who are shifting communities, shifting the type of house they're looking for, and if inventory stays where it is, we're going to essentially continue to see what we've been seeing for the last several months.
Yeah, and the last thing that I just wanted to address, because it's putting pressure on the housing market, is the rental market. So a big part of why buyers haven't adjusted to the higher rates is because the rental market has really gotten pretty rough. We're just seeing rents really rise to some astronomical levels where a lot of people are realizing it still makes sense to buy if you can, even at the higher rate. And they're doing what John's saying. Maybe they're buying something a little bit smaller in like a slightly more affordable community because it still makes more sense to own rather than rent given the rise in rental rates. So that's what we're seeing in the market right now. And do we want to share just a quick tidbit on solar?
Yeah, just a quick plug, you guys. For the next, let's call it 6 weeks, 5 weeks, there's a huge rush among San Diegans to at least look into whether solar is viable for where you're living. The reason for that is that April 15th, the amount of savings you're going to get from SDG&E buying excess power from your system is going to drop by about 75 to 80%. And so there's a huge rush to get locked into the current system, which also comes with a 30% tax credit on top of that. So, and it's locked in for 20 years. And here's the kicker, it's transferable. So it's a really good opportunity to add value to your home. Even if you're thinking you may sell in the next couple of years and you're not going to fully realize the value yourself of owning a solar system, because it's transferable, it's a huge value add, and so you truly are increasing your profit in your home if and when you decide to sell.
All right, well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.